Who are these people? Who are these people?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Angel Rivera. That means this is Angel in the Afternoon. I'm once again with Alex, and this week we aren't really going to be talking much politics because until yesterday I didn't have a clue what we were going to talk about. So and Alex DM'd me to suggest talking about baseball and the Yankees. So I was like, oh, great, perfect. 'Cause I wasn't going to do a show this week because I had no clue what to talk about. So we are winning. We are winning. Let me try it again. The Yankees have won the American League East as of last night. They are currently 93 and 66. The Orioles. This is, let's see. The wild card has not been decided yet, right?
And the Yankees currently have the number one seed for all the American League.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask that. So number one seed. That means home field advantage throughout the playoffs, or at least the American League playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's see. 95 and 64. So the Dodgers have a slightly better record than the Yankees. So if we see them in the World Series, that means they got home field, unless something changes in the next three
The
games.
Yankees have been better on the road, and they've played well at
Mhm.
Dodger Stadium before, so I wouldn't be worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
And if we played the Phillies, well, remember they swept the Phillies.
Yeah.
Or something. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we should be live on Kick, Wiki. I forgot to set up Rumble, so I don't think I'm live on Rumble, but we should be live everywhere else, though. Just remember right now, like, oh, I forgot to set up Rumble again. Oh well, just the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, so the division winners are the Yankees, the Indians, the Guardians, and the Astros. I'm an old baseball fan. I still call them the Indians. So they're the division winners. The wild card, looks like the top three teams are the Orioles, Tigers, and the Royals.
How about those Tigers?
They came out of nowhere. I mean, I looked. They were bad at the beginning of the year, and then I look now. It's like, whoa, they're in the wild card race. Not only the wild card race, but
I
they're
think
probably
they
going to make the
sold
playoffs.
the trade deadline as well, if I'm correct.
They sold, didn't they?
I believe so.
Yeah, and they're all of a sudden likely making the playoffs. And the Royals came out of nowhere too. Like, holy crap!
Well, the Royals were really good for the most part this year, but they had a couple of 7 game losing streaks or something like that. But
Yeah,
now
so
swept the Nationals, so it looks like it's going to be the Tigers and the Royals also in the wild card.
yeah, so as of now, the Orioles are the only ones that have clinched a wild card spot, and the Tigers and the Royals are kind of tied. So
Yeah,
the Twins are 3 games out. So chances are, unless Tigers or Royals lose the next 3 games, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be the other two wild card teams because the Twins are 82 and 77, and both the Tigers and the Royals are 85 and 74. So I don't see unless the Twins or the Mariners somehow sweep their series and the Tigers or Royals lose the next 3 games. That's the only way they can get in. Even then, they're tied, so they might have some 1 game playoffs here. They even decide the wild card.
and
But
then the Mets and Braves still got to play. I believe it's a doubleheader on Monday.
mhm. The Red Sox are probably missed the playoffs. They're 80 and 79. They're
Yeah,
5 games out.
they're eliminated. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see it. They can't make it. So the defending world champion Rangers are 75 and 84. So definitely
yeah,
missed the
we're just
playoffs this
reporting
year.
for
So
that.
injuries and other things, have caused that. But let's see. In the National League, the Dodgers won the division, obviously. The Phillies have won the East, and the Brewers have won the Central. They came out of nowhere too.
I don't
Being
know if I
one,
would say that because they won the division last year too, but they traded Corbin Burns, and people thought the Brewers may not be so good this year, but no, they're back.
yeah,
They
that's
won.
true. To be fair, they've had a great year, but after losing Craig Counsell as their manager, I figured
Yeah.
they would kind of fall apart. But
Well, I
they've
think a
been,
lot of Brewer fans already like what's his name, Pat Murphy. Is that the manager of the
yeah,
Brewers?
Pat Murphy is the
Yeah,
manager now.
I
Yeah.
think they already like him much better than Council. So yeah,
Well, yeah. To be fair, he's done a great job with this team. The Cubs are 82 and 78, so they're not going to make the playoffs.
you know,
What's funny is Council got like a record breaking contract to go to the
yeah, he did.
Cubs, and they didn't really have a good year this year, so they're
Yeah,
barely above 500 finished. So they blew their money on a manager without improving the team. So the manager's going to do so much.
but hey, at least they're not the Chicago White Sox.
Oh God, historically bad season. Let's get
Yeah.
they're the White Sox are not finished, but they're currently 39 and 120. So they've tied the expansion Mets for having the most losses in the modern
Yeah,
era. They lose one more game this weekend, they're probably going to pass the Mets, the
yeah. Well, they're
expansion
facing
Mets.
against the Tigers this weekend, so it's gonna happen.
hmm So currently they're 39 and 120. I'm like, how could this a couple of years ago? The White Sox were a 500 team. It's 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, no, a couple years ago they won the Central, made the
Yeah,
postseason,
yeah.
and people thought now yes, Tony La Russa was the manager. He was horrible when he came back, um, but people thought okay, this started great things for the White Sox. They make the postseason. They should be great in the coming years. No, they haven't. It's shocking, really shocking how fast they've fallen.
No, I didn't. I didn't look because I forgot. But yeah, I'll probably watch it tonight if I can find it, or tomorrow before we go on air. But let's see. The White Sox are historically bad. They hired Tony. They Jerry Reindorf, the owner, brought out his little buddy Tony La Russa, dug him out of retirement, made him the manager, even though he's like 80 years old and most of the players didn't really like him anyways. And he's falling asleep during games, which is
Yeah,
one thing he was famous for. And they weren't even this bad under La Russa. Like, the hell is going on? So 120 losses. They break, and this is what's worse. White Sox have terrible luck because they only could they're drafting 10th overall in the draft next year, no matter what, because of some kind of rule. They took what was it? Some kind of rule where they can pick 10th overall. That's it. They can't pick number one. What was it? I read it somewhere and I forgot. But they're definitely picking 10th overall in the draft instead of first. So
yeah.
not a good start to that rebuild because they're definitely rebuilding now. Let's see. Let's see. So we kind of recapped that. Oh, the Braves are. Wait, the Braves are out of the playoffs as of now?
And so right now they're a game back from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Diamondbacks or something like that.
Yeah,
So
so they're game behind the Diamondbacks and the Mets, and they're playing this weekend, which will be very
yeah.
that series will decide who makes the playoffs and who doesn't.
Well, no,
Be-
it was supposed to be Braves and Mets this week, but the hurricane or whatever happened in Atlanta postponed those two games, so they'll be playing on Monday. Braves and Mets will be playing different series this week,
oh,
and then
that
Monday they'll
that Monday game to decide their seasons, so that could be like a one game
it
playoff
could.
right
We'll have
there.
to
Yeah,
see how the weekend
and you see how
turns
the
out.
weekend goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now the Yankees will wrap up the season against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know what the lineup looks like today, but I
But
don't
Judge is
know.
not on the lineup today.
I was like, I know Boone and I know Judge is probably not going to play these 3 games, or if he plays very little.
No,
But
he'll probably play the next two games.
yeah, but I'm hoping he gets us back to 60 home runs this season. What is 58? So
Even if he doesn't, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I mean,
oh
he's
no, I'm not saying it, yeah. It's just something that I maybe hope for. Like, hey,
yeah, I
can he
would
hit
like to see
60
it too.
again?
But again, if he doesn't, it's whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the most important thing.
The most important thing is he and Soto and the rest of the guys are healthy. We already lost Nestor Cortez into
Yeah,
the.
that sucks. That really
That's a bad
sucks.
loss. Yeah.
But they said if the Yankees get to the ALCS, he could return. So,
Yeah. So
but at
hopefully,
least it does make Boone's decision for Game 2 easier because
yeah.
I think there was discussion of whether Cortez should start Game 2 or Carlos Rodon. I was saying Cortez because he's been there and done that. He's been really good. But
Yeah.
now,
It's easy now.
yeah,
Without Cortez, you go Cole, Rodon, Heel, and maybe from there you go from there. But
I don't want Stroman pitching. I mean, he hasn't been very good lately.
he hasn't been very good this season. I mean,
Oh,
there were
oh
some
actually, instead of Stroman, maybe we'll go with Clark Smith. That would,
good, yeah,
yeah. Smith's
because
stuff pretty good ever since he
because
came back.
1, 2, and 3 should be Cole, Rodon, and Heel.
Unless Boone decides to have Smith pitch Game 3 and then Hill Game 4, we'll have to see.
I don't maybe, but I know Heel is still kind of young, but I'd probably go with the hot arm, But this
Well,
is
the
me.
concern with Hill is that he walks a lot of batters, so
I would have Rodon. I keep saying Rodon. I would have Schmidt as a backup or something. If he can't, if he walks too many guys, you stick him in there as like a long reliever.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, let's see what
But then
Boone does.
if you
But
do that, who would pitch Game 4 then? I don't want Stroman pitching, so.
if this was 15, 20 years ago, I would just say come back with Garrett Cole in Game 4. But
Yeah.
the guys used to go 3 days rest in the playoffs. But
Yeah. Boone could possibly do that. Have Boone pitch on 3 days rest.
especially
We'll
if the
see how
Yankees
that
are up 2-1. And this
Yeah.
Game 4, I mean, I would just come back with Cole on short
Yeah.
rest. But that's
To
here or
answer
there.
which yes, the Yankees are in the playoffs. They won the AL East.
Yeah, the Yankees are in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and they'll likely be the number 1 seed. As of now, they are, but the Guardians are kind of nipping on the Yankees' backside there because
Guardians are playing against Houston this series, so
yeah.
that'll be easy for the Guardians.
So the next 3 games are still important for the seeding, but as you said, and the Yankees have played a lot better on the road this season.
Yeah,
than
they
at
haven't been
home.
bad at home, but it's just
No,
on the road.
yeah, they've been better on the road though, so it might not be such a bad thing to not be the number 1 seed, at least for this season. But I would prefer have the number 1 seed. So
Yeah.
they're historically better. Are the Twins in the playoffs? No.
They're not mathematically out yet, but it's looking.
Yeah, they're 3 games out.
Or as Joe Biden would say, Minnesota.
Yeah, they're 3 games out as of now of a playoff spot, and the Royals and the Tigers have 85 wins, and the Twins have 82. So things would have
Marco
to go.
Baldelli might be gone after this season, possibly.
Maybe because the Twins have underachieved the last. They gave Carlos Correa all that money, and he's been hurt. He hasn't really played much, and and yeah, the Seattle Mariners are also kind of in it, but not really.
No, they're eliminated. They're eliminated too.
Well, wait, what? It did
Yeah, they've
these
been eliminated.
these records as of what today? Oh yeah, so yeah, I
Thank
guess they're at
you too.
82 and 77. They already fired their manager, so
Well, earlier in the year,
yeah. Hmm. Let's see. The Padres on the wild card. They've already got their spot. The Mets and
I
the
still thought it was
Diamondbacks.
hilarious when the Mariners made those base running mistakes against the Yankees.
What the hell was what's his name? What was he thinking?
Robles,
Yeah, what the hell was he thinking?
yeah, that's
And the one
dumb.
at third base too was horrible. It was like
Yeah,
what?
but to defend, I can understand Julio Rodriguez in that situation. Back coming to you is like, oh god, I almost got hit. It's like, oh shit, I got to get back still.
Yeah,
So
the third base. It's hilarious because the third base coach was like, "What are you doing, man?" He just walked away like, "Oh, okay." Like he thought it was a foul ball, not like it was strike three. So
yeah.
then he
Yankees
got
really broke the Mariners after 2001.
they've only made the playoffs once since that 2001, which was what last year I think it was, or the year
No,
before.
2022.
Yeah, they finally got in, and they were immediately eliminated. But yeah,
Well, not immediately. They swept the Blue Jays in that wild card round, but then they got swept
okay.
by the Astros after that horrible game one loss when it looked like they were going to win that game.
Well, they had a tiny bit of a run. I mean, let's be fair, but but they didn't get past the Astros, and well, this year the Astros have been good. They haven't been dominant. They haven't been like years past,
Well,
but
they did much better than they were early in this year, but it didn't
oh,
look like they were going to do good at all. But
they were under 500, I think, in May. I was like, oh, were the Astros really that bad? Or
yeah.
it turns out they weren't. I mean, turned out to be a
Yeah.
good team, and
But
they
I
won the
still wouldn't
division.
have them out. I mean, when they get to the postseason, they can still, do much better than you think. So
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how would the playoff seedings work because the
so
Yankees a
if
division.
the playoffs started today, it would be Orioles versus Royals for the AL wild card, and then Yankees would play one of those teams, and then
Okay.
it'd be Tigers versus Astros for the other wild card, and then the Guardians would play one of those teams, and then
Okay.
for the National League, if I'm correct, well, okay, so for the wild card seed, it would be Brewers versus who's the last seed for the National League?
Diamondbacks as of now.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Diamondbacks. So that's right. It'd be a rematch of last year's wild card, Brewers
Hmm.
and Diamondbacks. So, and then I think I think it'd be Phillies playing one of those teams in that round, and then it would be look like a rematch of 2022 between the Padres and the Mets, and
Okay.
then the Dodgers would play one of
So
those
the
teams.
Dodgers. So the Yankees and the Dodgers get the first round bye because technically now the wild card round is the first round. I mean, let's be real.
Which to correct you about Baltimore, 2022 they actually weren't that bad. They were much better than the previous years. They didn't make the postseason, but they were rebuilding that year. They did pretty good. Last year they won the American League East. They won
Yeah.
100 games, but they got swept by the Rangers in the division series. This year they're in the playoffs for the wild card, but
Yeah.
they're not as good as they were last
Well,
year.
the
So.
the Orioles kind of underachieved. I thought they'd win the division at the beginning of the year because they
Yeah.
were so good
Well, I
last
thought it was
year.
going to be Yankees Orioles down to the wire,
Hmm.
but the Orioles struggled at the wrong time. And the Yankees got hot
Hmm.
at the right time. Did I really say Orioles? Oh, that's just how she's pronounced it.
Yeah, it's the Orioles, but yeah,
Or
the
as,
play.
as Ben Carson would say, an Oriole. Remember he said that.
Yeah. So this weekend, the Yankees don't have much to play for except keeping their guys healthy and getting through these next three games
Yeah. Sunday they're
because
supposed to race against that Pirates ace. Denver.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the one who's forget his name, but I know
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah. So I wouldn't feel much of a lineup because again, this number one seed. I mean, it's nice, but you want to keep your top guys healthy for the
Yeah.
postseason. So uh,
Kitty, it's Guardians this time, not Indians. So
yeah, I keep calling them Indians, or but all right. So that's that. Playoff predictions. Let's see who gets in, who gets past who gets to the World Series, who doesn't. It's
yeah,
interesting to try to predict this because the Yankees on paper are the best team in the American League, but that doesn't mean anything,
right.
because Yankees, unfortunately, especially under Aaron Boone, tend to choke in the playoffs and not play well. So they've had failures in the playoffs for years now. But
Going to
let's
be
see.
interesting to see if Aaron Judge can finally have a very hot postseason. They're
Yeah, the
finally
Yankee
getting it.
fans don't talk about it much, but Judge is not a good hitter in October
He's
throughout his
not
career.
horrible. He's had his moments, but he
Yeah.
has not like Carlos Correa in the
No,
postseasons.
he's. I mean, it's like it's not discussed among Yankee fans because we all kind of love Aaron Judge, but
Yeah,
he's just not a good. He's not great in October. He's okay. He's had his moments, if you said, but
yeah,
his career average in the postseason is not great. But Juan Soto is that X factor because
yeah,
he's great in October. I mean,
yeah. And
so
and Stanton's great in October
yeah,
too.
yeah. Stanton when he plays, I mean, he's. I mean, there's some years where Stanton's carried a team in October,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
in the playoffs. So yeah, Stanton's healthy, Soto's healthy. Maybe with that extra protection, Judge could be better in October. If Judge is great in October, the Yankees have a great chance of getting out of the American
yeah,
League
yeah.
and getting into the World Series for the first time since 2009. So
And I think you've seen me message you on X before, but I think the Yankees have found their closer with Weaver.
oh yeah, yeah, finally. And
Yeah,
he, why am I forgetting his name? But I know her face though. So he's the new closer. Uh, as of now,
well,
I
no,
mean,
he's their closer. I mean, Aaron Boone say he hasn't said it officially, but he's their closer now. So
oh, there's no way they can go back to Clay Holmes at this point,
no,
especially
no,
how well he's pitched in the ninth inning. So
yeah,
yeah, that was my only concern. As I think we briefly talked about a few weeks ago, Yankees don't have a closer, so the chances of getting out of the American League are almost nil. But they found one like late in the year by accident, kind of like, hey, here you take the spot. Oh, you
yeah,
pitched well and you look dominant. Okay, just go with the hot hand. And
yeah,
then after the season, you could figure out whether he's going to be your permanent closer. You got to sign a closer. Even
yeah.
though let's say the Yankees, we can get into free agency later, but let's say the Yankees get Soto back. There's almost no chance Hal Steinbrenner's spending any more money after Soto. So it's like we're
I
gonna
mean, you
have
never know.
to.
I mean, he brought back Aaron Judge, so I mean, you never know.
Yeah, if we get Soto back, I don't think Hal Steinbrenner's spending much more money. So either A
Well,
may have to.
I think they have all the money in the world, so I wouldn't be.
Oh no, I agree, but Hal Steinbrenner is kind of cheap, so it's like, oh, we gave Soto 60 million a year. Well, I'm not spending any more money, so
Yeah,
I'm throwing out a number. It could be less, it could be more. I mean, at this point, because the way how the way the Soto's rejected a $400 million contract from the Nationals, which is what led them to trade him to the Padres
yeah,
because they didn't want to keep him around, knowing that he wasn't going to come back anyway. So, and they were rebuilding at that point, so it's like, okay, let's get what we can for him, and then Padres traded him to the Yankees. It's like, okay, like holy crap. So Juan Soto's had a fantastic year. I mean, it's like
yeah.
Yankees.
Even though he
Oops.
had that injury scare against the Mariners, we thought, oh no, this is
Oh,
gonna.
that nearly gave me a heart attack, to be
Yeah,
honest.
but
Because oops, that's not it.
thankfully
Because
he's
if he would
okay.
have gone down, then
Yeah,
that would have really limited the Yankees' playoff chances.
yeah,
So let's see. Juan Soto's hit 288. 418 on base percentage, a 572 slugging, and an OPS of 990. 41 homers, 108 RBI, 126 walks, 116 strikeouts, which is amazing. He's walked more than he struck out this season.
Yeah.
Judge has hit 325 with 58 homers, 144 RBI, 133 walks, 166 strikeouts, 10 stolen bases. He hasn't been
That got
caught
a
once.
really huge deal if he's doing everything else. So maybe in
Yeah.
the postseason that can matter, but regular season, it's not something I really think about.
Yeah. So he's hitting 325 with a 461 on base percentage, 708 slugging, 1169 OPS.
I remember he got off that horrible start in the first month of the season. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. This season, he's stayed healthy. He's has 180 hits, 36 doubles, one triple, 58 homers, 144 RBI, and that's what got off the bad start.
I was worried when they were playing against the Orioles earlier in the year when he got hit by the pitch. I think it was the wrist. And he got injured. I was worried. I was like, oh no, this is 2018 all over again. But thankfully, he only missed one game. But then my concern was how would he be able to keep his timing, swinging the bat, and home runs, and he has. So.
He's definitely the MVP of the American League, and Soto will probably be a close second.
Thank God Shohei's not in the AL anymore.
Oh, I know, because I know the media is in love with Shohei Ohtani. He'll definitely be the MVP of the National League.
Ben Verlander, that guy.
Yeah. But no, Shohei deserves it. I mean, he had a historic season, so I'm glad he's in the NL, so he can win the MVP over there.
But the question people should be asking is, how is he going to do in the postseason? Because this will be his first postseason ever.
Yeah, he's played, 6-7 years, never been in the postseason with the Angels. I know he's been with the Angels, and they've been god-awful, but...
Yeah.
And they were god-awful again this season. But...
I think they finished their worst record ever this season, if I'm correct. So,
the Angels were
after they got swept by the White Sox. That was the worst record. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I read.
The Angels are 63 and 96. The A's, the Athletics, are 69 and 90. Oh, the Athletics just finished their final game at the Oakland Coliseum yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, that Oakland Athletics situation was handled horribly by everybody. Major League Baseball, the owners of the A's, everyone. It was handled horribly. Now they're going to play where next year? In Sacramento?
Sacramento next year, and then the year after that, they'll move to Vegas. So,
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, why would you... what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to play in a minor league park somewhere in Sacramento where nobody goes see baseball anyway. So it's like...
But Vegas could be very interesting. I mean, I'm interested to see how that goes. They got the Raiders there now, and now the...
but nobody in Vegas wanted the A's. It was more like, oh, you want to come here? Okay, sure, whatever. One of those things. That Las Vegas wanted the Raiders, which is why they paid like $1 billion in taxpayer money to bring the Raiders over. But nobody really wanted the Athletics in Vegas. So it's more like, oh, you want to come here? Okay, sure, we'll give you a little bit of money and you can build a stadium here. But yeah, I mean, that whole situation was handled horribly. I mean, the A's should have stayed in Oakland. I mean, I'm sure they had places they could have built there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand Oakland's in bad shape. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of homeless people. I understand, but at the same time, though, it's like Oakland. They always been, as long as I've been alive, they've always been in Oakland. They always played in the Coliseum, even though the Coliseum has fallen apart over the years. Nobody's bothered to fix it up, but I've never been there myself. But I've heard stories about the Coliseum, how bad it is, and how the bathrooms stink, and there's rats in there and possums. So it's like the owners had basically abandoned the stadium. Didn't bother rebuilding it or not.
Also, the way the A's handled their announcer from last year, he should have never been fired. You remember that guy who said the N-word, accidentally said the N-word, that A's not the third one, it was bad, obvious, but he should not have been fired from that.
It was obvious that was an accident. I mean, it was like he's talking and
then that current female announcer, Jenny Kavanaugh or whatever, she's fucking awful.
A lot of Oakland A's fans are complaining about her. I mean, they replaced a really good play-by-play guy with I'm guessing because she's a woman and it's a DEI
Yeah,
hire.
it was
Like,
a DEI hire. Yeah,
yeah, it was like, oh hey, we're sorry, our last announcer accidentally said the N word. Here, let's hire a woman and make her the play-by-play
yeah,
girl. And I'm not saying girls can't do play-by-play; they definitely can. Susan Waldman did a great job on the radio for the Yankees, but she's not good at it. I've heard her. It's like, oh, I mean,
yeah,
Oakland fans have been complaining about her all season, so
yeah.
it's like you could barely
The other
watch her.
horrible announcer this year from the White Sox, the new announcer, I don't remember his name right now, but he was horrible. He's such a homer. Even when they lose so bad, he's like, "Hey, here come
Oh
the White
yeah,
Sox!" You know.
I'm like, God bless. I mean, you love your team, and they're paying you, but it's not a good year. It's historically bad. I mean, at least be honest about it. You don't have to be doom and gloom, but it's like, hey, our team is bad, but let's come out to the ballpark and have some fun. So it's still a major league, or technically it's still a major league baseball game. Even though I'm sure some AAA teams can beat the White Sox,
Yeah,
but he's no Hawk Harrelson though. I'll tell you that much. Hawk was good about it. He was a homer too, but at least he was more entertaining with it.
yeah.
All right, so let's see playoff predictions. I mean, as a fan, as a Yankees, I think they'll be in the Fall Classic. Obviously, they'll. Even though I say that every year, and a lot of years they fall flat on their
I think they'll
face. But
at least be in the ALCS. That's
yeah,
at least.
that's a given. If they don't get to the ALCS, it's a miserable failure this season.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I would say Boone should get fired, but he's never gonna get fired. I already resigned
Well,
myself to
he
that.
only has one. He has 1 year left in his contract.
Yeah, and especially if he has a year left in his deal, House Steinbrenner's not going to fire him just to pay him to stay home. So
Yeah,
chances are he's going to be back next season no matter what. But yeah, I mean they should get to the American League Championship Series at least for this season, and at least to have a somewhat successful season. To say, hey, at least they got into the ALCS. But let's see.
and
I
hey, who
would
knows? If they face Houston, maybe they could beat them this time. You know,
I
they
yeah,
can.
I was just gonna say that I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros get into the LCS too, but I wouldn't sleep on the Orioles, Tigers, or Royals because if
Yeah,
they are, especially the Tigers and the Royals, if they're hot right now, they can make a run, and they can surprise people. It was like what year was that where the Royals like kind of got came out of nowhere and got to the World Series, even though they lost to the Giants ultimately. It was 2014, right?
Witchy, to answer your question, because we're Yankee fans, we hate the Mets, so that's why.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, well, as of now, the Mets are in the wild card too, but I mean, the Mets has been really good this year, but the division
After
belongs
that
to them.
awful start they had earlier, I mean,
Yeah, they weren't good early in the year too.
and they
See,
fucking swept the Yankees in this season series.
that's the problem. Nearly every year since Boone took over, they're great in the first half. Once the second half comes, they kind of fall apart, and then it happened again this year. It's like,
Well, in the summer they were bad, but then they turned it around. They got hot at the right time, so I wouldn't
yeah,
say
the end of
that.
the year, which is what matters. I mean, but they played well in September, but in
And
July and August, they
I think what the Orioles will be kicking themselves for is, when the Yankees were struggling really badly in the summer when they were losing all those games, the Orioles had a chance to really put them away, but they couldn't. The Yankees hung in there, and then they got out at the right time, and they won
yeah, I
easy.
was surprised that the Royals didn't like put them away. Like
Yeah,
instead, they struggled too, kind of. So it was like, oh, okay, Yankees still have a chance to win this division. And the Yankees got hot at the right time in September. It's like now they've
you
won
know,
the division.
as
So
bad as you've mentioned how you don't like Aaron Boone, I think Brandon Hyde might be worse than Aaron Boone.
I don't, I don't.
But a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
Orioles fans don't like Hyde right now, so
yeah, I noticed that. I mean, they've complained about Brandon
I mean,
Hyde.
when he didn't have Corbin Burns come back out to 600, and I was like, yes. I was like,
Uh
is
huh.
he injured or something? But no, he was because he was saving them for the postseason. I was like, yes, and then Yankees got to their bullpen and they scored more runs.
Yeah, I don't understand that move because again, he was pitching well against the Yankees, and
Well, because they
you ha-
wanted to save him for for the his next start in the postseason series in the wild card. But they
I,
would, but they still had a slight chance of winning the East, so I would
yeah,
have not taken him out yet. So
yeah. Which if I'm managing is like I'm going for the division. I mean,
yeah,
this guy's dominating the Yankees. There's a slight chance that we can win the division and avoid the wild card, playing
yeah,
this wild card situation. But you know, I think he was content with being in the wild card. Like, hey, at least we made the playoffs,
yeah.
so we'll see what I'm going to save him for the start in the wild card game or the wild card series, whatever it is now. So so that move made no sense. It was more like a conservative type move. Like, hey, he pitched 6 innings. He was great. I'm going to save him for
Five
the
five
for
innings.
the.
He pitched 5 innings.
Oh, that's brutal. I'm so.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I did you hear about that rule Major League Baseball is considering for next season, where they're going to force a 6 inning minimum for starters?
You mean that they can't take pitchers out before the sixth inning?
Yeah,
That's fucking stupid. So even if they're struggling, they can't. What? That doesn't
yeah, it
make any
makes no
sense.
sense, but they're considering a 6 inning minimum for starters for next
That
season
doesn't make. Oh my god.
because fans have been complaining about how starters have not been out long, which doesn't make any sense.
No, it
Be-
doesn't. It doesn't. That's the pitcher's fault.
yeah, that's a philosophy in baseball. To force kind of a forced rule that to force a rule that 6 inning. Uh,
unless there's more to the rule that we don't know about, but
yeah,
that just sounds really stupid. Like what?
Major League Baseball is considering a new rule that requires starting pitchers to throw at least 6 innings per game, with some exceptions. The rule will
Oh,
be significant change to how the game is played and managed, and would have several potential effects. Increase endurance. Starters would need to have more endurance. This is like the AI thing that Google has. Reduced arm injuries. Pitcher might be able to reduce the rate they'd suffer major arm injuries. They're pacing themselves and training to navigate longer starts. Better chance for hitters. Hitters might have better chance at the plate. That's not depending on the starter. That's not really true. More balance in the game. The rules can help restore the prominence of starting pitchers and reduce the prevalence of strikeouts. More action in the game. Some exceptions include pitchers can be pulled if they're throwing 100 pitches. Okay, well, that's. So let's say it's 100 pitches in 4 innings, it can still be pulled. Pitchers can be pulled if giving up 4 or more earned runs. And
okay.
pitchers can be pulled if they suffer an injury. So those are
Okay.
some of the
So
except.
if the pitcher's giving up 4 runs or more before the sixth inning, then they can take him out. Or
Yeah. So it's
okay,
not that bad. You
yeah,
think
no.
of it's they
But
get they
because in order to get a quality start, you need 6 innings and at least six
yeah
innings, giving up either 3 or fewer runs. So
yeah
okay,
so
I guess it's not horrible, but still, I wouldn't bother with it. So
yeah it's like forcing it in there. It's like
yeah,
it's forcing the 6 inning minimum. So they're giving up 4 more runs, they can be taken out early. If pitchers thrown 100 pitches before 6 innings, they can be pulled. And if pitchers suffer an injury, obviously, they can't pitch.
yeah.
So like the rule would be need to be implemented in the minor leagues before it could be used in the majors to ensure the prospects can handle the workload. So yeah, it's very similar to the pitch clock and very similar to a lot of these rules that we have today. They were tested in the minors
Thankfully, in
first.
the postseason, we won't have the base runner base runner rule in the extra innings. So
They gotta take that out. Even
yeah,
for the regular
I've
season, it's
been a fan of
stupid.
that. It's stupid.
It's
The other
stupid.
rules, I can deal with them, but not the base runner rule. It's
I'm
no need.
sorry, that's stupid.
Yeah,
The whole runner on second base thing, where that was an experimental rule during the pandemic. Okay, they want to end games early so they
yeah.
can, get the hell out of there, and not have 18 inning games anymore. But it's over. They it doesn't. I don't like it. They should pull that, even though they probably won't
I
because
also I also hope for next year in the postseason they finally fix the seeding where, you know, like for example, the number 6 seed will face against the best team, in the division series, like it
Yeah,
does in
this.
the NFL. So
Yeah, like in the like in back in the before they had like the wild card round, they had one wild card team.
yeah,
Usually, that wild card team would face the number one seed in
I
the
mean the
first
wild card
round.
round. I mean keep the wild card round. I'm just saying, fix the seeding. So I just want the seeding to
Yeah,
be. I don't. I want them to reseed after the wild card series so that the number 6 seed can face against the number 1 seed this time.
yeah, that's how playoffs usually work in sports.
Yeah, I
The
hope they fix
lowest
that.
seed faced the number one. So yeah, like like in the NBA, like it goes 1 to 8, and
Yeah,
whoever's the 8 seed faces number one seed in the first round, and it goes from there. But yeah, I mean that's stupid. And the 6 inning minimum is not as bad as I thought it was once reading it a little bit, but it's like really, you got to force 6 inning minimums on starters because starters these days aren't used to going long unless it's very few of them go past 6 innings anyways.
yeah,
Let's see. Uh, Glaber Torres had an okay year. Is he a free agent after this season? I'm pretty sure
yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably be gone. I
Yeah.
don't see
But,
how.
ever since Aaron Boone put him in the leadoff spot, he's been hitting much better. So,
Yeah, he is to his credit, but ultimately, if the Yankees get Soto back, he's
yeah,
gone most likely. Verdugo's gone. Somebody else a free agent. Rizzo's free agent, right? I think he's gone
yeah,
too. Yeah.
Rangers was great. It'd be interesting if they maybe get Pete Alonso as their first baseman. That'd be interesting.
Ah, sticking Pete Alonso in this lineup. That's if they don't get. I assume that's if they don't get Soto, because I don't see them spending money on Pete Alonso if they get
Okay,
Soto.
but let's not act like they would only bring back Solo for that money. Let's not act like that's the only thing they're gonna do. Like, they're gonna. I think they'll spend as much money as they need. So
You think Howell would just open up the wallet, even though he said he
I mean,
wouldn't?
I agree that Hal is not. He's not George. He's not his father. I get it, but hey, I still think if there are moves he needs to make, I think he'll still make them if they're
Yeah,
necessary. So,
yeah, like like the offseason when Judge became a free agent and like the Giants were offering all this money and the Padres were it's like, oh, he's gone.
Arson Judge.
Yeah, and I saw that when the net like I didn't. It said Arson Judge signed with the Giants. I'm like, we just lost Aaron Judge, and now and yeah, a lot of Yankee fans will be pissed. And then it's like, oh no, he hasn't signed yet. It's not official. Blah blah blah. And then it's like, and then here comes Hal Steinbrenner on the phone, and he negotiated directly with Judge and got him back. But I
Yeah,
was like, oh wow, Hal did that. Okay, looks like he has a little bit of. Looks like he has. Looks like he cares about the Yankees a little bit.
yeah.
Because I thought Judge was gone
There
for
there are
sure.
worse owners in baseball. So
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not saying that. Oh, thank you, CBC. Appreciate it. But I'm not saying there are a lot worse owners in baseball. But a lot of Yankee fans got used to George Steinbrenner,
yeah,
especially in our age group. I mean, it's like, who's the best free agents? Get them. Doesn't matter the cost. Every year is like that. Nearly every year was like that. It's like we got all the best free agents, and whether it was Gary Sheffield or Alex Rodriguez or um, I keep forgetting. There were some bad ones there. Carl Pavano. There were some horrible free agent signings over the years. I can't think of them right now.
Carl who?
Uh-huh. Carl Pavano had what 4 starts in 4 years in the Yankees. I mean, he just
Whatever.
stole money from the Yankees.
Yeah.
he just.
Don't forget,
Uh,
Randy Johnson was a huge disappointment.
oh, Randy Johnson. Yeah, that's another one. It's like he was okay, but he wasn't
In
the
his first
same.
year, he was good, but the second year he wasn't. So
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like
great.
you spent a bunch of money on Randy Johnson, and he was past his prime for the most part. So like, he was fine, but he was serviceable, but it was not the same pitcher from Seattle or from Houston or from the Diamondbacks. Just from. But yeah, let's see who else. I mean, I could Keigawa. Remember that
Oh,
one? How
yeah,
that one worked
yeah,
out?
yeah. And also that other Japanese pitcher, Hideki Arabu. Um,
He was good though. I mean,
mm, I mean, he wasn't amazing. He wasn't. I don't think he was great though.
No, but he was okay for the Yankees. It was in Kagawa where the Yankees just buried him in AAA for the rest of his contract and then released him. like, but Masahiro Tanaka was good when he was here for the
Yeah,
7 or 8 years. He was some years he was the Yankees' best pitcher, so it was their best starter at least. So yeah, but there's been a lot
I
of
also liked
disaster.
James Paxton in his first year. I thought in his first year with the Yankees, he was really good. In fact, I went to one of his starts against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, and he was
Uh,
dominant in that game.
uh,
So I
he
really
had
like.
he had
Sorry,
something.
I'd like to continue.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
that he could be a starter for the long term, but
what I was going to
injuries
say
got
was,
to him.
he was really good in his first year, but unfortunately in his second year, he had some injuries, and then he lost velocity on his fastball. So that was really
And he
disappointing.
was done. I mean, he just retired, I think. So it's
Yeah, he said
unfortunate.
after his season he's retiring. So
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out.
I don't get
So
why the Red Sox wanted him back. Like, what were you doing?
they probably liked him as a person. I don't see what role. I mean, I don't see the type of role that he would have had.
Yeah,
Actually, unless because they most likely would have to cut him at spring training if he would have. Yeah, I guess they would have given him an invite. I don't see them giving him a contract, like a major league contract, to come back. But let's see. I really like that Jazz Chisholm trade. I mean, he's been
yeah,
fantastic since he came over from the Marlins.
yeah.
It's okay. He's moving to second base because Glaber is gone one way or another. I don't see him coming back. So
Is,
Jazz.
is he not a free agent, Chisholm? Is he not a free
No, I
agent?
think he has 2 or 3 years left to control. I
Oh,
think.
okay. So then, yeah, yeah. I guess they would put him in
Yeah,
second.
he has like a lot. He has like 2 or 3 years left to control,
Then
which I'm
who's gonna
surprised. Them.
then who's gonna play third base? LeMahieu? Are we gonna have to deal with LeMahieu yet again?
Oswaldo Cabrera could be an
Cabrera,
option.
yeah, Cabrera.
I don't
If he can
see
get more,
LeMahieu moving back to third. I mean, he can barely move at this point in his career without breaking his foot. So most likely it's going to be LeMahieu at first base because if Rizzo's gone, then they have to play
no,
him
no,
somewhere.
no, 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 no. They either got to sign someone, either Pete Alonso or maybe Ben Rice can finally play in his first full season.
Ben
Uh,
Rice played well. He had a stretch where he was good this
yeah,
season.
but then he
So
struggled, so
yeah,
they had to send him back. But maybe next year he could be his year possibly. So, but no, I do not want LeMahieu
I
at
don't
first base.
either. I don't either.
He's good
But
defensively, I'll give him that. But
yeah,
just like I don't, his offense is just he's really
yeah,
struggling.
I don't either. But unless and the Yankees are notorious for playing young players. Look what they did with Jason Dominguez. He was in AAA most of the year, even though he was healthy and ready to come back.
Well, now he's back and he's going to
Yeah,
do
he's back now, but
yeah.
I think they were messing around with Dominguez's service time. That's why they didn't bring him back
I
earlier.
think maybe also they wanted to maybe get his defense maybe better. I mean, we saw that play in the second game against the Orioles, how he
Yeah, his
misplaced the ball.
defense is kind of like he
Yeah,
made some bad errors out there in the outfield,
that's
but
going to be important in the lineup. So yeah,
yeah, most likely they're gonna have to in the postseason roster. Dominguez has to get in there. I mean, you need his
oh,
bat.
I don't know if he'll get in there every game. Like maybe it depends on the matchups, but he'll play definitely.
Yeah, I would play him a lot, and late in the game, you can probably do defensive replacement like Verdugo or Trent
Yeah,
Grisham if he makes the roster. Trent Grisham,
yeah.
because you would need to.
I assume Grisham's going to make the roster, like as a bench player. So
Yeah, you need, and he's a great glove even though he's
yeah,
not much of an offensive hitter, but he's a great glove like late game replacement in the outfield, especially somebody like Dominguez who's kind of questionable in the field. So as we've seen since he come up, so
mhm,
but you definitely need his bat in there.
mhm.
I mean, I would take the chance and like I would take the chance and see what happens because you definitely need his bat there, and he's young enough where the playoffs probably wouldn't affect him because he's played so well this season, and he's just going out there and playing baseball. Let's see. Volpe's had a good year.
Not no, not really.
Well,
No.
I look at his numbers here, and his offensive numbers are fine. 155 hits, 27 doubles, 12 homers, 60 RBI.
But the
Struck
batting
out way
average,
too much.
but he's also batting like in the 240s or something. So
Yeah, 246, 294 on base percentage, which is low. I don't like that on base percentage.
yeah,
At 368 slugging, that's brutally low. I mean, and the 662
he's
OPS,
great
that's low
defensively. I'll
too.
give him that. He's really good defensively, but it's offense that's an issue.
Yeah, its offense is kind of like, I mean,
At least, at least when he's playing shortstop, I don't have to worry about Isaiah Kanafalefa ever again.
oh God, yeah, I mean, he's gone now. Thank God, he's
Yeah,
better than that. But yeah, he needs to improve his on base percentage. The slugging is way too low for my taste. He's a shortstop. I mean, he can't have a 368 slugging. He just
yeah.
can't. So if it's a catcher, you probably get away with it because as long as you have a good defense back there,
Yeah.
I,
Speaking of catchers, Austin Wells needs to get going again. He's been slumping.
oh, he's been great, honestly. I mean,
Yeah, but lately he's been slumping. So,
yeah, he's kind of in a slump now, which I'm worried about too.
mm,
He's young, so but yeah, he need. It's nice if his offense comes back. This
yeah,
season, 231, 320 on base, which is fine. 400 slugging, it's okay, and 720 OPS. I mean, yeah, at least his on base percentage is good. The average could come up a little bit, but let's see. 13 homers, 55 RBI, 45 walks, 87 strikeouts. Volpe struck out 154 times. That's brutal.
that's not good. That's
Yeah,
not
if he's gonna be like a contact, gap to gap hitter, that's way too many
Yeah,
strikeouts. Like he needs to, that needs to come down by a lot
yeah. He
because
really needs.
Judge struck out 166 times, but that's fine. Look at his numbers.
It's
Well, I'll
not good.
take the if he struck out 190 times, I'll be fine with it as long as he has those numbers.
Yeah,
Like you don't need to mess with Judge too much. But with Volpe in the season he has, they need to work on his swing this offseason because
yeah,
either his swing is too long or his mechanics are off. Something happened, but the strikeout 154 times is way too much. He's second
yeah.
in the team behind Judge. Which if he hit 40 home runs, they're like, okay, I mean, that's fine, whatever. But he only hit,
I wonder what they're gonna do with Stanton after this season because he's really good, but he gets injured every year, and I knew he was gonna get injured again.
yeah,
So, so
Stanton's only played in 112 games. He has 27 homers, 72 RBI.
I just
Let
wonder if the Yankees can really deal with that again next year. They just,
He's hit 235 with a 300 on base percentage, 481 slugging, and a 781 OPS. I mean, offensively he had a good year, but at the same time only played 112 games. So,
yeah,
but he has what 2 or 3 years left on that massive contract he signed. So
whatever the amount was.
he still has a lot of years left. I mean, I don't know exactly how many years, and I think it's 2 or 3. His contract's up in 2027 or 28. So it's a lot more years left.
Yeah,
So unless they find they find a
yeah.
team that's willing to take
Possible
him,
they could still, possible they could still trade him. Oh wait, he has a no trade clause,
yeah,
right?
yes, that's why he got to the Yankees because he had
Yeah,
a no trade. So
yeah,
he at the time they were looking to trade him after his MVP year. He was like, "I'll
yeah,
go to the Yankees, Astros, Dodgers, or Red Sox." Those were like his 4 teams,
yeah,
and none of the other 3 teams didn't really put much of an effort. So he just kind of ended up in New York, for that package of I don't remember what it was right now, but it was like a bag of magic beans basically.
yeah.
The best player in that package, why am I forgetting his name? Because it's been a few years.
You're talking about the
But
Stanton trade?
the Stanton trade, yeah.
Well, who the Yankees traded Stanton for was who they had was Starlin Castro.
Oh, that was just I remember now. Yeah, that was the star of that package, and it was like,
Yeah,
and he played a couple of years in Miami. Was okay. Last time I saw him was in Washington. I guess he's out of the
yeah,
league now, but
yeah,
yeah, the Marlins just got a bag of magic beans for him, and Starlin Castro was gone. The prospects they got did nothing, so it's just gave away Stanton to basically save money. So,
yeah,
but yeah, there's no trade clause, so the chances that even if the Yankees want to move him, he could say no, and it's like They have to either release him or just let him finish out his deal
Hmm.
because I don't unless he retires early, which he probably isn't because he's owed a lot of money still.
Yeah.
And he still had a good year even though he played only 112 games.
Hmm.
So I think they're stuck with Stanton. Right? I don't see unless he accepts a trade somewhere else, but
Yeah.
and then the Yankees have to pay most of that contract anyways because I don't see how a team is going to be paying for a guy for a aging superstar hits 27 homers and 72 RBI with a 235 batting average. I mean, it's not like he's the MVP stand anymore. He's not going to get back to that form again. But
Yeah.
as long as he had 25 plus homers and 70 plus RBI, I mean that's good enough production for him, especially with the injuries that he has. So
Mhm.
that's the only thing you really expect from him at this point. Verdugo's had a really bad stretch this season where he couldn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Did hit a home
Uh,
run last night, which was promising.
yeah, that's the thing. He completely lost his power like most of the years. Like, where's his power? I mean, he
He
got
hits
off the
really ground balls. That's been the problem.
yeah. He's like hitting the ball in the ground, like he's killing off all the worms in Yankee
Yeah.
Stadium, and he's just pounding the ball into the ground. But he had 234 with 293 on base. That's too low for me. 359 slugging. That's low as well, and
He's not gonna
62 OPS.
come back after this.
He's not coming back next season. There's no way the Yankees would invest that money, especially when they got Dominguez. Most likely he'll be starting in the outfield next season.
Yeah.
So Verdugo's gone, Glaber's gone. Let's see.
So
Grisham is probably unless they bring back Grisham as a fourth outfielder.
Rizzo will be gone. Clay Holmes, I assume, will be gone. Um,
Yeah, I don't see it. The Yankees will be even if they win the World Series, a lot of these guys will be gone because I don't see Verdugo coming back or Glaber or Grisham or if they can get rid of if they get rid of Clay Holmes, I'm sure that they would because
yeah.
he's kind of like persona non grata in New York. After he's blown the most saves in baseball this season,
Yeah.
it's like and they still stuck with him, and they still stuck with him, and they still stuck with him. It's like he had like a good stretch. What 2 years ago when he first came up, where he was unhittable. He's an all
Oh, he
star.
was really good earlier in the season. He was like
Yeah.
one of the best, not the best closers, but then
hmm
he just, you know,
He had like he didn't give up a run for like the first month or two of the season. I seen those
sometimes.
stats.
Yeah.
He didn't give up a run or gave up one run or something. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's back to all star form. And then after that, he
Mhm.
fell apart and became one of the worst
I mean,
closers in
that
baseball.
game against the Rangers when he gave up that grand slam. I mean, that was the final blow.
Oh, that
So,
was it. There's no way you could. There's no way the Yankees could stick with him.
the
I know
big
they're
problem with
stubborn.
Holmes is that he's really struggled coming in with a run lead. That's where he's had his problems. When
He's
they're up,
not a closer.
yeah, yeah,
If I see his stats and I see he struggles with when he leads by one run, he's not a closer. Because a lot of times you're going to be up by one run. You got to shut that game down.
that's why people call him cardiac clay.
Yeah, if you're a closer, I expect you to close out the game
Yeah,
when you're having one run lead consistently. And
yeah.
so, look, I know nobody's going to be Mariano Rivera again. Yankee fans kind of spoiled with him. I mean,
Well, Emmanuel Clase might be the next Mariano Rivera, possibly.
oh god, I mean, if the Yankees play the Guardians and he comes in and is like, "Ah, we're fucked. We're going to lose that game."
Well, it depends how the games go. Actually, the Yankees haven't been too bad against Clase before, so you
Yeah,
know.
they hit him okay, but it's like very few people can even square him up, let alone hit him. Like
Mhm.
very few people can hit him, let alone square him up. I said that reverse. So yeah, so he's
You know what would be interesting if, let's say, the Yankees play against the Guardians for the ALCS. We should do another chat, but also like maybe invite Misty, I guess, comrade Misty, because she's a
yeah.
Guardians fan. So
Oh,
that would
that'd
be
be interesting. I mean,
yeah,
we'll see what happens if that happens because I
yeah,
would like it'd be kind of fun because to have her on and see what she thinks. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, we'll get if that happens, we'll see. But so we got to see how the wild card rounds turns out before
yeah,
we know who we're playing. Because if we know who we're playing, then I can probably look and
yeah.
predict it. Because let's do this. So
I'm
I
just glad
think
they
the
start in the wild card round. I can watch the wild card rounds with no fear or anything. So
honestly, none of these teams really worry me. The Orioles, the Yankees have played well.
I mean,
Like
the
the time,
Orioles they played the Yankees well, so that could be an issue in the postseason possibly. So Tigers
yeah.
too. Tigers have played really well. Though I think those would be my most concerned teams. The Tigers and the Orioles.
I hope the Twins get in because the Yankees dominate the Twins in the playoffs. I mean, it looks unlikely right now, but since they're 3 games out with 3 to play, but yeah, if they were to somehow get in, they'll probably end up playing the Yankees. So,
Mm,
Witchy says, "Faith Angel, you must believe in your team." Yeah, I'm apathetic because the Yankees have failed over and over again in
mm.
the playoffs when they shouldn't have failed. Ohio fan will crush you, Cowboy. Oh, come on, Cowboy. I mean, we're already kind of thinking about the ALCS because that's the only time we could see the Guardians because they're a division winner.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. So I'm not really worried about the Royals. Even let's say the Royals end up playing the Yankees. It's like
Yeah, the Orioles. I mean, I think the Yankees will do fine against the Royals. I
they'll.
think maybe the only two players to worry about would be Bobby Witt Jr. and
Yeah,
Salvador Perez, but that would be
Bobby
it.
Witt. Yeah, and Salvador Perez still around. I mean,
Yeah, he's had a great season
oh
again.
wow, I didn't know that. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a part of the Royals teams that won
He and Bobby
championships.
Witt Jr. are part of the reason why the Royals have been much better this year. So
I'm shocked the Royals invested in a player like that, $100+ million for Bobby Witt. I mean, they made the right call. I mean,
you mean they gave him an extension, or
yeah, they gave him like $100+ million
uh,
extension.
oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Before. Yeah, that makes sense.
let me exactly. Oh, he signed an 11-year, $288 million contract with the
Wow.
Royals. So they made the right call. I mean,
Yeah.
they saw him young and they gave him like a giant extension, including $7 million bonus. He's making 26 million over the next 11 years. 26 million, which is a bargain, honestly, because a guy
Yeah.
with his talent should be making 35 or 40 million a year.
Hmm.
So it's a bargain for the Royals, but they made the right call. And this is the first time they've ever invested that much money in a player. How many players they lost over the years, or the last 30 years, because they didn't want to spend the money?
Well,
Like,
if you go back to when they last won the World Series, they lost Eric Hosmer.
mm-hmm.
Uh, what's his Alex Gordon? Is that his? I think that's his name, right? Alex Gordon.
I thought they kept Alex Gordon. I know
I
they
don't.
kept
I think they're
Salvador
involved.
Perez.
I
Yeah,
yeah.
they lost
Uh,
most of that team for
yeah.
2015 because they wouldn't pay them.
Yeah.
So Eric Hosmer was an infamous one. It's like he signed with the Royals and then not the Royals, excuse me, the
The Padres.
Padres and did
Padres.
nothing pretty much.
He was a
And
horrible. He was horrible defensively too. I mean,
I was
you
surprised by that.
um, as what's his name? Melvin Dirtback Leftist, I think, or you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
That he's also a Padres fan. He'll tell you everything about how
I
horrible.
know. I saw
Yeah.
I saw like numbers of Eric Hosmer and some footage. It was like he just pounds the ball into the ground too. He's just brutal
Yeah.
at the plate. I was like, what happened to the Eric Hosmer who led the Royals to a championship? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone. By the time he got
Yeah.
to San Diego. So let's see. So Bobby Witt has options in 2031 to 2034 for 35 million. 2035 is another team option at no, they're player options, from 2031 to 2034. 2035 is a $33 million club option. And 2036 to 2037 is a $28 million club option. He's exercising. He's probably be a free agent in 2031 and then get more money from either from the Royals or somebody else. I mean, there's like no way that he's going unless he's still great. If he's still great, there's no way that he's going to finish out this contract
Yeah.
because he actually has a player option in 2031, which is another 8 years from now, 7 years from now. I mean, 2031 is a long time from now. It's like I can't even imagine it. But yeah, he signed that long term extension, and they're going to build this team around him. And the Royals are this good this season. Imagine in in a couple of years, how good they're going to be.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm not worried about the Royals as long as you get past Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
As long if they don't hurt you, you'll be fine against them.
And maybe
Often,
Seth might have to deal with Seth Lugo as well, who's been really good.
yeah. So they don't have like a deep lineup. They just have those two or three guys that can hit, and in the postseason, that's not going to be good enough to make a deep run. But at least they're in this season and they're showing some type of progress. The Tigers, I'm surprised. I mean, I didn't. They've been bad for years, and now they're in the playoffs too, which is like I'm surprised by that. I mean, I didn't expect them. They came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you would have told me who made the playoffs at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't pick the Tigers or the
No,
Royals. So it was like
no way.
I would have picked the Twins, probably the Red Sox to get in the playoffs. And
I didn't pick the Red Sox to get in. No way. They wouldn't. I knew they weren't going to make
well,
it.
well, I would have picked the Red Sox because Alex Cora is their manager and he's really good. So I figured he
Cora
would
hasn't
get.
really done anything though the last couple seasons. So, and the Red
Yeah,
Sox gave him that extension, which I was surprised. I mean, and I get it's not all on Alex Cora, but I mean, like I think he's still to blame for the how the Red Sox have been doing the last couple of years. So,
yeah, they gave him an extension, so they're behind him as of now, at least. But they could very easily, they could really easily fire him, even though they gave him an extension. Same thing happened in Cincinnati with David Bell. They gave him an extension and then fired him 6 months after the extension. So in Cincinnati, so which makes no sense because why would you extend him and fire him after 6 months? So you're gonna have to pay him out that 3 years. So like,
it's horrible what they did to David Bell.
yeah.
They should at least wait until after the season was over to make that change.
Yeah, I understand they had more of a 10. They had like around a 10 game losing streak when they did it, but but at the same time, they you just gave him an extension. He's gone. I mean, it's like you just throw him under the bus. It's like, oh, our season didn't go well. Let's just fire him. But the manager is, excuse me, usually to blame.
Mm-hmm.
The St. Louis Cardinals suck, or at least they've been really mediocre this season.
This year they were at least better than they were last year. It's not a disastrous season this time for the Cardinals, but still not a
Yeah,
great.
but I always expect the Cardinals to be in the playoffs, even though they're a small market team. But they're
Yeah.
usually really good most years. And
Yeah.
now it's like ever since Oliver Marmol took over, it's like it's been brutal. They've been brutal.
Yeah.
And that guy's an arrogant prick. I mean, I've seen his interview. Like, dude, I
Yeah.
mean, get over yourself. You're not Bobby Cox or Joe Torre or anything like that. Just get
Yeah.
over yourself. They're
Made a mistake firing Mike Schultz. Is that his name?
that yes, he's the
Yeah.
manager now in San Diego, I think.
Yeah.
And look at this. Padres won the division. Or didn't win the division. They're in the wild card, but
Yeah.
but he has that team playing well. So that's after they traded Soto. So it's like you thought they were rebuilding, but nope. I mean they're right there.
Yeah.
The reason why they fired Schilt was because he wouldn't allow the team to change his coaches. He wanted to hire his own coaches, so they fired him. So they wanted a patsy as a manager where they can just hire his coaches and fire them whenever they wanted. So that's what they get. They get an 81-78 record, and they're going to miss the playoffs. And last year they were even worse. So it's like, so let's.
By the way, Chaim Bloom he runs that team now, the Cardinals.
Oh, so I'm sure that Karen is like, thank God Heim Bloom's finally gone. I mean, just like,
Yeah, but what has Craig Breslow done? He pretty much turned out to be the same as Chaim Bloom.
yeah, it seemed that's a lot. A lot of the issues that the Red Sox are having is also on ownership because they don't want to spend money anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, as a GM, what do you do? It's like the Angels. It's like the LA Angels. It's like Artie Moreno owns the Angels, and he's not going to sell that team now. I thought that he was going to sell, but they kind. So the Angels fans are kind of stuck with Artie Moreno now until he dies. So he's kind of young too, so they're going to be screwed for a long time.
He's not young.
Well,
He should be like either in the 60s or 70s.
Well, for an owner, that's young. A lot of them don't die until like their 80s and 90s.
No, there are quite a lot of owners who are younger than him. So
Yeah, but I'm talking about like for an owner and for a billionaire, they usually last longer than
I
normal
get.
pop.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, he might be in his 60s, but he'll probably be around in 20 years easily. So
okay,
Angel fans have to hope for his death at some point. It's like it's kind
yeah,
of like fans of other teams where it's like you have to wait till your owner dies before you actually become good again. So it's like just hang on 20 years or so.
yeah.
Uh, Anthony Rendon is one of the worst signings I've ever seen for
God.
the. It's like the dude doesn't even care about baseball. I mean,
I know he said baseball's not the most important
yeah,
um, thing in his life or whatever he
yeah, he
said.
doesn't care about baseball. It's like, oh hey, can we play less games? Hey, can we do this? It's like, can we play seven? What do you say? 8 inning games or 7 inning games? I mean,
Whatever
like,
he said.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like you just gave a guy $245 million. He doesn't care about baseball. Hell, I'm gonna be surprised he's faking injuries and not to play. I mean, he's like, I wouldn't trust him. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm hurt. I was like, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't be surprised he's faking injuries or he's also getting into fights with fans, and grabbing them and stuff. What he did at the beginning of the year before he got hurt again.
yeah.
And so,
And then
uh,
it also didn't help him in 2022 when he got hurt, when the Angels had and the Mariners had their fight. Um, Anthony Rendon, he got involved in that fight despite him being injured. So
uh,
it's like, what are you doing? You
what are
want to
you
hurt?
doing? You're hurt. Like
Yeah,
you're out and you're involved in this massive brawl for no reason. When you weren't even playing, you're hurt. So it's like, oh yeah, let me start getting myself. And it was like an excuse to get suspended and not to play. It seems like, even though he was hurt already, so it made no reason for him to do that. Unfortunately, Mike Trout is injury prone and can't stay on the field. Even though
yeah,
when he does play, he plays well, but he can't
yeah.
stay on the
He
field.
was off to an amazing start this year, but then he got
Yeah, he can
injured.
still hit, he can still play, but he can't stay
Yeah.
healthy. And
Years ago, I wanted Mike Trout to be traded to the Yankees, but now I don't
I
because of
did
it.
too. I thought, hey, we kind of need a center fielder because I wouldn't want Judge playing center field every day. Well, he did play center field pretty much every day, and he stayed healthy. So it was like, okay, but he could do it. But I prefer if he doesn't play center field, especially if he get once he starts getting older.
Yeah,
So Yankees still kind of do need a center fielder unless you move Dominguez out there. But with his defense, I really wouldn't trust him out there right now.
yeah.
So they'd still need a center fielder unless they're just gonna say, you know what, Judge center fielder, and we're not gonna look for one.
Mhm.
But yeah, unfortunately, Mike Trout can't stay healthy, and he has years in that contract too.
Yeah.
Unless there's a team out there is
And a
willing to
huge
take on
mistake
that
to stay
money.
with the Angels. He should have, focused on signing with a different team. Like, what are you
He,
thinking wanting to stay with the Angels?
he's loyal to a fault,
Yeah,
unfortunately, because the Angels were the team who he started his career with, so he's loyal to a fault. I think
yeah,
Shohei Otani learned Trout's lesson and is like, yeah, I'm out of here.
yeah,
I'm out of here. He go to the Dodgers for $700 million. I don't blame him. His- he was. I'm out of here. Look at Trout. Look at his example. So
yeah.
now, unfortunately, with his health, no team's gonna want to take on that contract. No. So I think he's gonna end up retiring as an Angel, even though he has Trout ever made the playoffs.
Yeah, 2014, the
So
Angels
he
made the
went in
playoff.
once. Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm about to say he's being Don Mattingly pretty quickly. I mean, if he because Don Mattingly made the playoffs once, and that was in his final season in '95.
yeah.
So let's see. The Oakland A's are terrible. They're always terrible. The Blue Jays are had a down year.
Huge disappointment for the Blue Jays. After promising what they did in 2021, people thought it was going to be a
Yeah, I thought they would be
price going
in it
forward,
consistently.
and they just keep disappointing their fan base.
Yeah, they're disappointing year after year.
Looks like
And
Todd Schneider, I think that's his name. It looks like he might be
yeah,
gone finally after this season. So
they
possibly.
didn't make the best choices with managers. I mean, they hired I forget who it was at first.
Oh yeah,
He
you're
was
talking about the who was he? The Venezuelan manager or whoever it
yeah,
was.
yeah. They hired a Spanish guy
Oh
first. That
oh Montoya. Last
Yeah,
name's Montoya. I remember his first.
Montoya. Yeah, they fired him after 2 years, and
Yeah.
Schneider took
Schneider
over for
replaced
him.
him. He became much better, but now it's
Schneider
it
replaced more him. I just forgot his name again, but
don't forget
and
what I think it was last year. He forgot how many mound visits he couldn't visit the mound again to talk to Alec Manoah, and he had to take him out.
he had to take him out, and it was a whole argument because of that. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean when a team bats out of order or a manager forgets how many mound visits he has,
yeah,
it's not good. Usually that means that manager's incompetent and he should be out anyways. But
yeah.
yeah, the Rangers are, again, we discussed them. They had a down year after World Series injuries,
Unless
and
if it's the same situation as the Giants when Bruce Bochy was the manager, like
oh
they'll
yeah,
win every other
people
year possibly.
yeah, people are saying that, hey, they'll be back next year. Look at what Bruce Roshi did with the Giants.
But
So
we'll have to see about
they'll
that.
be back in the playoffs next year. Maybe even winning another championship, because that's what he did with the Giants. Pretty much every other year they were champions.
Oh wait, I just realized for third baseman, Alex Bregman's a free agent. Maybe the Yankees could sign him, possibly.
Maybe, I mean, he could. Oh, but Bregman, he was a part. Look,
Yeah, but
so
but I mean that was a while ago. You can't really focus on that now. You got to focus on the current
yeah, they
era.
got. I know some Yankee fans will call radio shows in New York is like, oh, well, Bregman was a part of the cheating scandal. We don't want him
And he
here.
was. It sucked, but I mean you got to move past that already.
Yeah, that was what 7, 8. You got to get over it. I mean, get over it.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still one of the best third basemen in the league. So if the Yankees can get him in free agency, I say do it. This, I'm
yeah,
sure most judges gotten over it. I mean, it's been years
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So I don't see the Astros bringing
They
him
got
back.
over it. They were able to sign Marwin Gonzalez for the 2022
Oh
season
yeah,
after he was with the Astros. So
and
they can get anyone.
yeah, they can. They got to get. Some of these fans have to get over that. I mean, I
Yeah,
get it. They
yeah.
nearly made the World
It sucked.
Series
I
that
think
year.
too, but that was back then. We gotta forget about that now.
Yeah,
So
Yankees nearly made the World Series that year. They
yeah,
they were up 3 games to 2. I mean, I remember, and then going
yeah,
back to Houston, it was like, ugh. They
yeah,
only scored 1 run in those 2 games. It was brutal, but brutal way to end the season. But
yeah.
it was years ago. You gotta get over it. But let's see. The Mariners, they're there. They suck. The
Yeah.
Twins, unfortunately, are not going to make the playoffs. So your 6 playoff teams most likely be the Yankees, Guardians, Astros, Orioles, Tigers, and Royals. So those are your playoff teams, and for the National League, it's going to be the Dodgers, Phillies, and Brewers. Brewers are your division winners, and Padres, Mets, and Diamondbacks. Even though the Braves have an outside chance of getting in,
Yeah.
especially if the Diamondbacks, falter, or the Mets even, so they're like a win. If one of these teams falter, they can still sneak in. So the Cubs are out of it. The Cardinals suck. The Giants. Surprised the Giants underachieved, especially if when they brought in Bob Melvin. I figured, they would be better
Yeah.
under Melvin.
I think
But
the Giants started playing better lately, but
they're
obviously,
7-3 in their last 10 games. So
yeah,
yeah, they're playing better now, but it's
maybe
too late
next year
now.
they'll be better, possibly.
Yeah, they'll be better next year. Like I saw a rumor online the Giants would possibly trade for Mike Trout and take up his contract. I'm like,
Oh, that they shouldn't do it. No, absolutely not.
I know the Giants trying to spend money for years. They tried to sign Judge. They tried to sign Correa, but the ankle.
You
Then
can't
Judge
go.
the last.
If they tried to do it a few years ago, then yeah, that would be great. But you can't do it now. You can't not do
No,
that.
that's a bad idea now. I know they're trying to bring in stars and try to, build this team up more, but Trout isn't it. I mean he can play if he plays 40 games a year, you'd be lucky at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be productive in those 40 games, but
Yeah,
that's not enough to justify bringing him in and paying all that money.
yeah,
Unless the Angels pick up half or even more than half of that contract, then maybe you could justify it. But even then, if he plays 40 games a year, you'd be lucky. So even if you get him at 20 million a year,
mm-hmm.
40 games a year or 50 games a year is not enough. You can't justify it.
No.
So that's just an online rumor I read. Probably not true, but I just wanted to put that out there. So my World Series prediction is going to be the Yankees against the hmm, National
I'm
League
going
seems.
with the Dodgers.
Yeah, the easy prediction is Yankees Dodgers, but but still the Dodgers are managed by Dave Roberts, so they find ways to lose in the playoffs in most
Yeah.
years.
Mhm.
So especially, and the only reason why they won in 2020 because it was pandemic shortened
Yeah.
season and they're
They
playing the
still have
Rays, and for
they still yet to win in a 162 game season with him. So
yeah, and for some reason Kevin Cash took out Blake Snell after 80 pitches
oh my
when
god.
after so like and as like oh my god he took him out after
Yeah.
6 innings and 80 pitches. I'm like now the Dodgers gonna win that game. Exactly what happened. Immediately
Yeah.
Mookie Betts hit doubles and the floodgates are open after that. So
Yeah.
Kevin Cash just cost his team a championship somehow. But to be fair, it was more the how the Rays do things, with their starters. But
Yeah.
it's October, it's the playoffs. Blake Snell was dominating. Just leave him in
Yeah.
there. It makes no sense.
Mhm.
But I digress. But the Dodgers could fuck things up royally. So
Mhm.
could it be Yankees Mets? No, the Subway Series. I mean, that's a remote possibility.
Mhm.
We're assuming the Yankees gonna get in. By the way, we're both Yankee fans. So in
Mhm.
the chat, so yeah, Steph said I need to believe in my team more. So assuming they get in, I'm just looking at the National League and seeing the Phillies are definitely a threat. I mean, they have Bryce Harper and they have a great team out there in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. The Diamondbacks, they're fine. I mean, they got to the World Series. Was it last year?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, they lost to the Rangers last year. That's right. So they can get back in again. I mean, they're not a joke.
But
So
Jordan Montgomery's had an awful year with the Diamondbacks.
I remember before the season started, I think we did a roundtable
Yeah.
right before the season started. I said they should bring in Montgomery back because he pitched well. I was like, boy, was I wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, right. So I'm glad they didn't bring him back, but I thought they should bring him back. I thought the Yankees didn't have enough starting pitching to begin the year. So that's why I was like, oh, bring back Montgomery, bring in Snell, bring in all these guys. Let's get more starters in here. Snell didn't have a good year either. So it was like,
Well, to begin the year, but ever since he came back, like lately, he's pitched great again. Blake Snell
eh.
has.
But that's why I thought at least you can bring in Blake Snell because I
Yeah.
know he walks a lot of guys, but he has a strikeout potential and
Yeah. But
and
hey,
he'll get it back together.
we
I
we
thought,
could possibly get him next year, so we'll see. So
yeah. I love Trevor Bauer so much, and it's like the Yankees should bring him in. It's like he's still he can be great. He has talent. I know he's an asshole, and I know him and Garrett Cole had issues in college, but 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 yeah, if the Yankees need another starter, Trevor Bauer is definitely still out there. So like, look, and I know he's been blackballed in Major League Baseball, but
mm,
yeah, if it turned out he didn't do anything to that woman, he was set up. But but yeah, I really think Trevor Bauer won a Cy Young award a few years ago, so it isn't like
yeah.
he's trash. He's just an asshole.
But how would he
So
do now? That's the question. How would he pitch?
well, he's been out in the major leagues for what 2 or 3 years at this point. So, yeah, I mean it's kind of a risk to bring him back, but bring him in. But ultimately, I think it's if he signs like a 1 year deal, a prove it deal, and you bring him in for 15-20 million. I think it's worth at least for 1 year is worth an investment to see what he can do. So let's see. So yeah. So we got time. Let's see. Yankees Dodgers is the obvious prediction, but at the same time, I have a sneaking suspicion that Dave Roberts is gonna screw up somehow. They're gonna lose before they even get to the World Series, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll get back to the Fall Classic, but right now the team that I'm looking at is really the Phillies because they're a team that are dangerous. And I don't know much about the Brewers. I haven't really followed them this season, so can't really. you have an opinion whether they'd be a threat to get to the World Series or not?
I
But
think their offense is a big threat in the postseason, at least.
yeah, yeah, I don't know much about their team because I don't really follow them too much, but I haven't seen numbers for them. But let's see, they're 5-5 in the last 10 games. They're kind of stumbling to end the season, but let's see, their records at home and the road are pretty much the same. They're 45-33 at home and 46-35 on the road. So
Yeah.
they're not really either a home team or a road team. So you can't. So I think they'll be fine in that sense. Unlike the Yankees, they're a better road team, which is weird. Most times they're great at home and they're okay on the road. This year is reversed. So
So the Yankees Pirates game, top of the fifth inning, it's 2 outs, but it's still scoreless. So nothing's
oh,
happened in that game.
okay.
As Carlos Rodon's pitching well. Astros are leading 3-0 against the Guardians. Um,
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because the Guardians and Astros have wrapped up their divisions, so it doesn't matter much, who
And
wins or loses. But
the Nationals are killing the Phillies 7-0 after
ooh,
6 innings.
wow, that's brutal.
Uh,
Uh,
and what else? Oh yeah. Tigers are leading 3-1 against the White Sox in the bottom of the seventh.
the Tigers need to sweep the White Sox. I mean, if they're losing to the White Sox,
Yeah.
that doesn't bode well for their playoff chances. If they sweep the White Sox, they need to sweep. What are the Royals doing? Who do they play this weekend?
The Royals
They have to
are.
be playing, but I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
who
they're
they're.
playing against the Braves. They're losing 2-0 right now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they're probably guaranteed a playoff spots unless the Twins sweep this weekend.
Yeah.
And then if the Twins sweep, they'll be in it. But I don't. If the Royals win one game, they'll probably be that last wild card spot because even the Twins sweep, they'll still be a game out.
They're
So
not going to the bottom of the fifth for the Yankees and Pirates. So we'll see if the Yankees can score there. But
what
yeah.
needs to happen this weekend? The Yankees need to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that needs to happen because when Soto was hurt, my heart skipped a beat. It's like him and Judge go down, one of them go down. hmm, Uh,
Yeah.
for- forget it. You know what I mean? Unless Stanton like steps up and has another monster postseason, which could happen,
Yeah.
but if one of those two guys go down, God forbid, knock on wood. I mean, it's not good. He's already lost Nestor Cortez, and
And Jake Cousins from the
oh
bullpen.
yeah, he went down too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although he could be back maybe soon. We'll see. But maybe we
The
can leave it.
Rockies doing what Rockies do, 61-98, brutal. Miami Marlins 59-100, the worst record in the National League again. So yeah, I don't see those teams doing anything. The Nationals are still, they're bad again, even though
Jake
maybe
Cousins, he's not related to Kirk Cousins, right?
not that I know of. I mean, they have the same last name,
Check.
the Cincinnati. So I think it'll be Yankees Dodgers in the World Series, and I think the Yankees would win that series, but it'll take 7 games. I mean, Dodgers are still formidable. So all the money they spent, and
No, actually, they're cousins. They're cousins. Jake
oh,
and
okay. So yeah, they're related. Okay, so
so there's your answer, Witchy.
uh yeah, Brewers. So it'd be interesting to see who actually gets out of the National League. So the National League is a lot more competitive than the American League. It seems like
Exactly.
the American League doesn't seem to be as competitive this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the only teams that are kind of dangerous are the division winners, the Guardians and the Astros, and the Orioles. Don't know what the Tigers and the Royals are going to do, but
Wait, you don't think the Yankees are going to be dangerous?
well, yeah, but I said the division winners,
Oh,
which
yeah,
includes the Yankees.
but you also said the Guardians and the Astros. I don't think I heard you say Yankees. So
Ah, yeah, but the Yankees are going to be they're on paper they should be the favorites to get to the World
Yeah,
come out of the American League.
yeah,
The reason why I'm skeptical because again Aaron Boone's a manager, and his
yeah,
teams have found ways to lose in October, so when they shouldn't have.
yeah,
So, but yeah, if I like there if people like I was told like, oh well, they won the division, they won 93 games so far, you should be happy. I'm like, they're in the playoffs nearly every year now.
yeah.
I expect so much more. I'm not saying they should win the World Series every year, but
Hmm.
at least have one championship since 2009. That'd be nice,
Hmm.
or two. But they haven't gotten back to the World Series since 2009. So, and they've had some talented teams over the years. So it's not like they've been mediocre. I mean, they haven't. Again, they won the division again. They have one of the best records in baseball again. So there's the Dodgers and the Phillies have a better record, but
Yeah.
but yeah, they're again on one of the top teams in baseball, but they just can't get to the World Series. They're what under Boone they've had one ALCS appearance, and that was a disaster against the Astros. So
Two ALCS appearances.
the Astros was a couple of years ago, and what's the other
2000,
one?
or 2000, 2019.
Oh
2019.
yeah, yeah, and lost to
The
the
Astros.
Astros again. Yeah, so they can't beat the Astros, which has become kind of their kryptonite in the postseason. But this year the Astros aren't as good. They're not that same team from 2019 and 2021, but they're
22.
22. But yeah, I mean but the Royals and the Tigers. I mean, yeah. So most likely Yankees will play the Royals in the first round, unless. And again, I should say the wild card round is the first round because that's the 3-game series now. So that's the first round. The second round is the division series. The third round is the
I'm gonna
league
have the
championship.
Yankees and Pirates game on my phone because they have runners on second and third with one out, so the Yankees could score here. So we'll see.
As long as the Phillies don't win again. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. Well, they're one of my personal favorite. They're one of my teams that could possibly likely make the World Series. So right now, the National League is the Dodgers or Phillies. That's who I'm thinking coming out of the National League. In the American League, it's either the Yankees or the Astros, unless the Guardians surprise us. They have a better record than the Astros, but
Mhm.
as of now, those are the two teams which I think should more likely to come out of the American League.
But I know the Yankees they can beat the Guardians because for one they've beaten them the last three postseason series, and they've won the
Yeah,
series against the Guardians too. So
be nice to see the Guardians in the ALCS.
the thing that would
Assuming,
worry me though is remember in the 2022 ALDS, remember how the Guardians got all those cheap hits or those
yeah,
hits, that's the one thing I would be worried about.
yeah, because it's the playoff atmosphere in Cleveland it's usually fantastic. They're really good in Cleveland in the playoffs with the crowd. Yankee Stadium is just insanely loud in October, so
Yeah.
it's like, oof. So let's see. So this weekend that a lot of playoff spots are still on the line. So
Mhm.
even though most likely the American League, it's going to be the Tigers and Royals unless they shit the bed this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, I would think it'd be
Yeah,
Tiger.
yeah, but I don't see the Twins and the Mariners are still like 3 games out of a wild card spot. So unless they sweep
Uh,
this weekend,
the kid, well, one of them I think is still in my dad's bed, and the
uh,
other he's on somewhere else, but they're somewhere.
the Twins and the Mariners are 3 games out with 3 to play. So unless they sweep and the Royals and Tigers shit the bed, they're not
Yeah,
going to make the playoffs this year.
yeah,
So in the National League though is more interesting because the Mets and the Diamondbacks and excuse me, Braves are like 1 game apart pretty much. So it can be decided this weekend. I mean, if the
I
Mets
think
and the
I think the bases might. Yeah, I think the bases are loaded now with 1 out.
Okay.
That's Chisholm Hall is coming to bat, so
Okay.
see how that goes.
So this weekend, a lot, the National League wild card is still up in the air because the Mets, Diamondbacks, and Braves are separated by one game pretty much. So if they play well, if the Braves play well this weekend and win all three games, and the Mets or Diamondbacks lose,
Remember the time back when the Braves would never lose, as that Mets fan, said.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I would if the Mets miss the playoffs because of the Braves. New York radio is going
Yes,
to go insane.
yes. Yankees come through. 2-run single for Chas Chisholm Hall.
Okay, great.
2-0.
I mean, that's awesome. Even three game, if they play well, 3 games. It'd be nice to see. It'd be a nice 2 out of 3 in the series. Maybe even a sweep would be great heading into October.
They only
Be-
need to win 1 or 2 games because they have the tiebreaker over the Guardians. So
yeah, so if they tie, for the best record, the Yankees be the number 1 seed,
yeah.
most likely. So they only need 1 or 2 games, as you said. They don't need to win all 3 games. So yeah, man. Let's get rid of that.
And now Dominguez is batting.
He's my X factor. If he has a great postseason at the plate, I think the Yankees get in the World Series
Well, I still
because
think
that
it's because he's not still not the best postseason. Oh, Soto just stole third. Oh yeah, double steal.
hun. Again, they're still playing aggressive even though they won the division, but
Yeah,
I'm not in love with that because if for injury reasons, God forbid, but
yeah, but they still
the-
want to try to get the number 1 seed. If they already
yeah,
locked the number 1 seed, then yeah, they would take it more
they
easily.
haven't wrapped up number 1 seed yet because the Guardians are 1 win behind them, so there's a game difference between them. So if the Yankees win the number 1 seed, they're going to have to win 1 or 2 games this weekend. So if they win 1 or 2 games, they're the number 1 seed. I mean, actually, that a tiebreaker over the Guardians. So the reason why I keep saying Guardians is because I'm looking at their name here, or else then I would say Indians like another 2 or 3 times. So like, because I'm so used to them being the Indians.
Chad
Stupid name change.
may have accomplished a milestone, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't have the volume. Oh, 40th stolen bases this season. That's what it says. That's why he's now stolen 40 bases.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The Yankees don't steal that many bases. I'm looking at the stats here.
No.
The leader in the team is Anthony Volpe with 27. The second is Jazz Chisholm with 16. And third is Aaron Judge with 10. So they really don't steal many bases. The Yankees are more of a get runners on and hit home run team. So
Bases are loaded again. Dominguez just walked. So, oh God. Oh no, Verdugo's coming up. That means he's going to hitting any double play.
Dude, if I see that lineup and there's Dominguez, then Verdugo, I'm walking Dominguez every time. I mean, I'd rather pitch to Verdugo than him. So Dominguez has 5 steals, 7 homers, 16 RBI, 191 batting average, which is kind of low, but 296 on base for him is good, and a 340 slugging, a little low, but he hasn't really played much this. He only played 16 games, so I can't really put too much stock in these numbers. Oswaldo Cabrera played 107 games, 8 homers, 36 RBI, 247 batting average, 297 OPS, 364 slugging, 661 OPS plus or OPS. So again, the Yankees are probably gonna start Oswaldo Cabrera at third to start next season. But if they could get Alex Bregman, please do. I mean, he'd be much better than Cabrera at third.
Yeah, he's a proven player.
Yeah. So Austin Wells is probably gonna be the everyday catcher next season. I don't see unless Trevino is gonna be the backup, or
No,
even
I think he might be a free agent after this season.
Oh
so.
well, he's gonna be gone then. I don't see the Yankees bringing him back. Yeah, I don't see him bringing him back.
Trevino, but unfortunately, he hasn't been doing well offensively lately. So,
Cowboy Indian, Cowboy Kitty, Cowboy Indian, Cowboy Kitty said they're still the Indians to us. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in Cleveland still call them the Indians. Stupid
yeah,
name change for no reason. It's because the Braves still haven't changed their name, even though the Braves are, that's like
Flight out the shallow center, and runners weren't able to advance, so 2 outs.
it's like I don't trust Verdugo in the playoffs. I mean, he just so
Yeah,
it's like
and here comes Volpe.
uh, Volpe needs to improve a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
again, I'm looking at his numbers, and I'm not in love with him offensively. He has 155 hits, which is
but
third behind Judge and Soto, but
mhm.
27 doubles. But the strikeouts are ridiculous. I mean, 154 strikeouts in 157 games is ridiculous.
Yeah, and he got off to a great start. He was hitting
Yeah.
well, but it's for whatever reason he
I
struggled.
think something happened mechanically. Like either his mechanics or his swing is too long. Because striking 154 times for a guy that's not really a home run hitter is ridiculous. Strike
Yeah.
for a guy. Glaber's on base is okay, 300. Judge on base is ridiculous, 461. It's like that's like Barry Bonds level of on
Yeah,
base percentage.
yeah.
Like I think it was 2001 when Barry Bonds had like a 500 on base percentage or close to it. It was insane.
To me,
Oh,
I
that's
would think, Aaron Judge is like the current Alex Rodriguez in terms of
yeah.
being a
He's
player
if it
right now.
wasn't for the steroid era, if that steroid era never happened, you would assume Aaron Judge would have broken Roger Maris's record and maybe hit because he's natural. There's no way Aaron Judge is on steroids.
You talking about the total home runs?
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay,
about the because
I
McGuire broke on
remember.
Maris's record in the
Okay,
National League. He hit 70 that year, which is insane. No one's
you know
even
you
come.
Maris.
Yeah,
He
Matt, he
hits.
broke Maris's record. I'm talking
Oh,
about if the
I because I
steroid
didn't
era didn't happen.
say Barry Bonds. If you said Barry Bonds, I didn't hear you
Well,
say
that
it.
what's amazing about Barry Bonds, he didn't need it. He didn't need to
Yeah,
juice up. He already had 4 MVPs before he even started juicing. So he already would have been one of the greatest players of all time.
yeah,
But he juiced up and he broke the home run record, Hank Aaron's, but ultimately he's never getting in the Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Even though I think he should, I think all those guys should be in the Hall of Fame because look at the numbers they put up. Even if they were juiced up.
Volpe hit it well, but he lined out to end the inning. So,
uh, why they won't get in the Hall of Fame? Because they did steroids, and the voters and the press who vote for Hall of Fame are not going to vote for any of those guys. Alex Rodriguez is not getting in.
no.
Neither none of the, even though he should be in too. I mean, he hit nearly 700 home runs. You think he
Well,
retired?
after he got caught the first time, I think there was still a debate of whether he could still be in the Hall of Fame. But after he got caught twice, I mean,
Yeah, he was done. I mean, unfortunately, forget about it. He might. The Yankees might retire 13, but they gave it away. So it's like,
I don't think it'd be a great look. I mean, yeah, he hit a lot of home runs. He was responsible for how when the Yankees won the 2020
yeah, he had
2001.
a big postseason
But
2009, but
what he's done for his impact with the Yankees lately, it just probably wouldn't be a good look if they retired his number.
no, that's why it's unlikely to retire 13 at this point, especially if somebody else is wearing it now, which I'm pretty sure someone is wearing it right now. I'm looking at LeMahieu's numbers, and they're brutal. Only
Um,
played in 67 games.
they're going to the top of the six right now. Yankees
Uh
lead
huh.
2.
19 homers, 35 RBI, 204 average, 269 on base. What happened to LeMahieu? What happened to his eye? I mean, 269 on base.
He was like unstoppable. He was the Yankees' best player, and,
Yeah,
and Yankees gave him that extension. I was, all Yankee fans were like, "Yes, that was a
yeah.
great move." He just hasn't been the same, unfortunately. And it makes
215.
how did he do so good in his first 2 seasons?
Yeah, I think age and injuries caught up with him, especially that foot who never really healed.
Yeah,
Because his slugging percentage is 259, which is ridiculously low, and his on base
he's still pretty good
OPS.
defensively, but it's just offensively he's not the same anymore.
Yeah, which is why I have a sneaking suspicion the Yankees going to go with LeMahieu at first base next season.
Yeah,
Because
I don't think no. I just don't see that happening. Like maybe Ben Rice could play first base next season, but not
well,
me.
Well, I would like Ben Rice to be the first baseman, especially when he had that hot streak earlier in the year. But the Yankees are stubborn, and they rather play veterans than play the young guys because they want to mess with service time. I would assume is what happened with Dominguez. He should have been up as soon as he got healthy. He was dominating AAA. There was no reason to leave him down there for so
Yeah.
long. I think they were manipulating the service time, but even though they'll deny it, it's like, hey, look at we were trying to play, but because if they'll deny that we're screwing with the service time, but they had to be. I mean, there's no reason for him to be down AAA.
Mhm.
At first, maybe you can argue, well, he needed to rehab more and stick him down there for a week or two, but he was down there until September.
Mhm.
There's no reason for that, especially
Yeah.
with Verdugo playing so poorly, and forget about Grisham offensively. I mean, he's pretty much useless offensively.
Well,
He's
Grisham's
on,
had moments offensively. He's not bad. He's
yeah,
just
but
not a part-time player. He's not. He's not a full-time player.
he's not a non-factor offensively. He's more of a glove, which is why I would keep him around because of his glove.
But offensively, he's not horrible. He's had some moments offensively. So if he could come up clutching off the bench, I mean, I could see that happening. So
Yeah, I would put him on the postseason roster. This is a glove, if especially Dominguez still struggling defensively. uh, Just stick him out there and left, or that because Grisham is a natural center fielder, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with that because you stick him in left. I'm not sure if he's played much left field in his career. So let's see.
I won't
So
forget a couple years ago that play with Aaron Hicks. Like, remember when he missed the catch in left field line and he thought it was fall. He thought it was foul and he just looked down. And he was like, "Oh shit, it's fair. I gotta get the ball back in." Remember?
that was bad. That was brutal. So it's again that it seems like if the Yankee fans kind of got over what happened with Garrett Cole and Rafael Devers
Oh,
with Cole,
Cole did that four
the
finger.
four fingers and just walked
Oh
them with.
my god, that was horrible.
Yeah, the New
Oh,
York
yeah,
radio went crazy for that. It's like, oh, let him opt out. He should leave after the season,
no,
because he has an opt
don't
out in his
do that
contract.
again. Don't do that again to Devers. That's not a good look.
Yeah, that's not a good look, but it's like, and after that happened, New York radio went nuts
Like
because
if
I
Nate
was.
John did that to Mark McGuire or something.
Yeah, it's like Michael. They were calling into Michael K's show and all the other shows in New York, and like, oh yeah, let him go. He's a loser. He's not a fighter. He did that and stuff, and they seem to got over it pretty much. I haven't really heard much about that, which is like, yeah, it's not a good look, but I wouldn't want Garrett Cole to leave over that.
But
It's
the
like,
problem is, if Garrett Cole, whenever the next time he pitches at Fenway, the crowd's going to get at him for saying "coward, coward."
they'll definitely get on him for that because Red Sox fans, they don't play with, and it's like that'd be next season though because Yankees
Yeah,
don't play the Red Sox again this year, but but yeah, they're definitely gonna remind him about that next season when they're playing
yeah.
Fenway for the first time, unless he doesn't start those games. But yeah, if he's happened to be in the rotation, and it's his turn. I wouldn't shy away from that. It's
Yeah,
like, well, go out there and deal with it, So you walked him. I mean, I didn't. Boone didn't walk him. I mean, he did
yeah,
because he
yeah.
put up the four.
That was cool.
I would have come out and is like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why'd you do that?"
Yeah,
Boone doesn't do that, even though he should. I mean, it's like come out. I would have came out like, "Why the fuck did you walk him?
yeah,
Explain that to me, right now, right before I leave." It's like, what are you thinking that you can't get him out? Well, you gotta have to figure out a way to get him out. You're our ace. I mean, and I know Devers is special. Not many pitchers get him out consistently, anyways. But that was stupid. Luckily, it seems like Yankee fans got over it. He had a good start recently, and they were all
well,
praising him
he's
again.
been great
So
the last two starts, so he's fine.
yeah, I think he has an opt out after this season. So it'd be interesting to see what happened with Cole if he opts out or the Yankees get. The same thing happened with Sabathia. He had an opt out and then negotiated an extra year in his contract. Maybe they'll do the
Uh,
same thing with
to answer Richie's question, they're in New York, so that they're in Yankee Stadium. So
Oh, they're
yeah,
playing Yankee Stadium. Um, Yeah, they'd probably give Cole an extra year just to him not to opt out. Because if he opts out, then he's going back in free agency, and
Yeah.
you have to bring him back. I mean, he's your ace. I
Well, he
mean,
wanted to be a Yankee. He's wanted to be a Yankee throughout his career, so I don't see him leaving. Like maybe they could, you know, I don't. The only way he's leaving the Yankees is after his contract. So they wouldn't. I don't
yeah,
think
but
he can opt.
I'm concerned about that opt out. Be interesting to see what happens because his agent is still on Scott Boras. So,
But
and
I
Scott
would.
Boras,
Yeah,
yeah, go
I was gonna
ahead.
say. I think the only way when he gets to an opt out, I think the Yankees would extend him. Either they
Yeah,
would
that's what
extend
I'm
him or
thinking.
they, you know, they
That's what I'm
wouldn't let it
thinking.
go.
They'll give him an extra year just for him not to opt out at 30 plus million, whatever he's making now in his contract. I'm worried about Soto. Before we wrap up, what do you think he's gonna? He's coming back next season? You think, or is he gonna sign somewhere else?
Here's one of my cats. He just came in my room. uh, no, Shiloh. Uh,
Uh,
uh, no, I think they're going to bring Soto back. He really likes playing. He loves playing in New York. Fans love him. He's been great. I don't see, especially after 1 year in New York. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see him going to somewhere else.
they have to bring him back. I do agree. I mean, I mean, Yankee fans have completely fallen in love with Soto. Like him and Judge are like that 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
To lose that would be brutal. So they're gonna have to bring him back, and the number is gonna be interesting because he has to make he's gonna make more than Judge. Judge making 40, but the number is gonna be, I predict, anywhere from 55 to 65 million. It's gonna be 70. There's no way to make more than Shohei Otani, but
no, no, no.
it has to be 55 to 65 million. He's gonna per year. I mean, ultimately he's gonna come back to. He's gonna sign. The question is where. I think ultimately he's gonna go to the Yankees, but
Yeah.
the Mets are gonna obviously try to overpay because they're desperate for a star of Soto's caliber. And Steve Ballmer is gonna say
Steve Cohen.
Steve Cohen. Yeah, he's desperate to spend money, so he might go over the top. The Dodgers are always in on
Pretty
everybody, even
much
though they don't need him.
the past off
The Gi-
seasons. So,
uh, the Giants might be in on Soto because they're desperate to spend money too. They tried to sign Judge and they tried to sign Carlos Correa. They actually signed him, and then they backed out the last second when they
yeah,
saw his ankle. They actually signed Carlos Correa, so it's gonna be the Met. Maybe the Red Sox would be in on him just to mess with the Yankees.
I don't see the Red Sox. I mean, I don't doesn't look like the Red Sox are changing things for their off season. So I don't see them paying that much for Soto.
I don't think they're gonna spend any real money. They might just be in on it just to scare the Yankees kind of because if they lose Soto to the Mets, imagine New York radio for the entire offseason.
Oh my god.
The Yankee fans will lose their shit if he goes to the Mets, which is why they got to bring him back. I mean, the Mets are
I
the
think
most
they're going to do everything they can to bring him back. So
because they can't lose him to the Mets. They just can't. I mean, it'll be Yankee fans will never get over that losing him to the Mets. So, which is why he has to come back. I mean, eh, the 1-2 punch was supposed to be Judge and Stanton, but Stanton can't stay healthy ever since he came here.
yeah,
So now the 1-2 punch is Soto and Judge, and they've combined for 90. What's that number? 58 plus 41.
58 plus 41 is 109. Wait. No, 90. Wait. Hold on a second. I
We
think
can't do math.
it's
Neither of
99.
us.
It's 99.
That's what I thought. Look at 99.
Yeah. Because it's funny, 99. That's Judge's number.
Yeah, they've combined for 99 home runs this season and 150 RBI. I mean, you can't replace that production. That 41 and 108. I mean, how are you going to replace that production next season?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, especially if
Like
they. So,
Ortiz for the Red Sox.
so we got to look at who's free agents next season. That'll be another episode though, because
Yeah.
for now we got to wrap up in a few minutes.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's. So I predict Glaber will be gone, Verdugo will be gone, Trevino's probably
Rizzo,
going to be gone.
Rizzo's going to be gone.
Yeah,
Close is going
Rizzo's
to be
going to be
gone.
gone.
Uh,
Uh,
that's
yeah,
that. I
so
think that's the only ones who I think for sure are going to be gone. So,
yeah, I think, and they may bring Grisham back
oh
as
yeah,
a fourth
oh
outfielder.
wait, you already said Verdugo, right?
Yeah, he'll
Yeah,
definitely be gone. I mean,
yeah,
I don't see them bringing him back. And what are
no,
you gonna? What he just hits ball. He just smashes the ball into the ground at this point.
yeah,
Like his slugging percentage is 359, and for an outfielder, that's brutal. It needs to be a lot more than that.
yeah.
And Glaber's slugging is 374. So he's just not hitting the ball with power for whatever reason. Even though he has 15 homers, 63 RBI, but the power isn't there. I don't see it with 359 slugging. And so Glaber is going to get paid. That's why I'm like, I don't see him coming back because he's good enough to get $100 million at least. There's going to be a team desperate enough to give him that money, and they're going to regret it. Trust me, because the way he strikes out, he doesn't. Even though his on base is 328 this season, but his slugging is really low for a second baseman.
And he keeps making base running mistakes. I mean,
And
remember
he
that
keeps
first?
making base running mistakes. He has a lot of errors in the field too.
Yeah.
So
I think he's cleaned up his fielding, but his base
yeah,
running is
he's been better lately. But his base running, he just screws up all the time. Like,
yeah,
dude, are you a professional or are you just lackadaisical and lazy? I don't know which one it is with him. There are times he looks lazy, and other times it just
yeah.
makes mistakes for no reason.
Mhm.
So the chances are he'll be gone. They'll stick Jazz Chisholm at second base and
Yeah.
third base. If they don't sign Alex Bregman, it's probably going to be Cabrera. I mean,
Mhm.
he had a good year
Or maybe they
overall. I
can
mean,
still find another third baseman, either via trade or free
yeah, I would
agency. So,
prefer not to go into the year with Oswaldo Cabrera at third base, but
mhm.
next season, but I mean, they either Bregman or they're gonna have to make a move and to bring in a third baseman because I would
Mhm.
prefer not to go into the year with Oswaldo Cabrera at third base, but we'll see. We'll see in the playoffs. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Yankees, Dodgers, or Yankees, Phillies because I don't see any of these other teams, wrapping up or
But the
any
one
other
thing we gotta,
teams.
remember is, for the last 2 years in the wild card round, it hasn't really helped the bye teams.
Well,
In
yeah,
terms,
that's kind of an interesting point you made because I was thinking that too. The wild card, that bye team hasn't really benefited them much the last couple of years. So, if the Yankees do secure that bye, then it's good in the
but the
sense that
Yankees and Astros, they did well with the buys 2 years ago. So you know,
yeah, if the Yankees get that bye, the good news is they'll maybe rest up their guys for the
yeah.
postseason. But at the same time, it's only benefited my
The
teams.
Yankees have their buy. They just need to try to get the number one seed. So
Oh yeah, they already have it. Right, you're right.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just have to secure the number one seed, which
yeah,
a win or two this weekend would do it. I mean, Hessie had the
yeah,
tiebreaker
yeah.
with the Guardians, so
Definitely two for sure.
uh, yeah, we do have to wrap up. So that'll do it for this episode. I know Witchy Perfect says he has to pee, but yeah, we're gonna go right now. So thank you very much for watching. I'll be back. Oh, tomorrow's Pro Wrestling Talk 8 o'clock. We'll be talking about the McMahon documentary, which I gotta watch because I haven't watched it yet.
I might
And
be on. It's 9 Eastern tomorrow. Maybe I'm not sure, but I guess I'll let you
I'll
know.
send you the link if you can come on. Great, but if you can't, I understand. If you have things to do. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Angel in the Afternoons. Join us tomorrow for Pro Wrestling Talk 8 o'clock, and also join us next week for more Angel in the Afternoon. And we'll see you guys